Fox News extreme weather alert. If you live in the eastern half of the United States, you know a huge winter storm is on the way. For the rest of you, you'll get to watch us all be miserable, so that's always fun. Up to 50 million Americans are about to get hit. Winter storm warnings in effect from the Midwest to the Northeast and all across the Mid-Atlantic. National Weather Service has also issued a blizzard warning for New York City and surrounding areas. I want to show you exactly how much snow we're expecting in cities up and down the eastern seaboard. This is the D.C. area. You can see 2 to 6 inches there in Washington. And you see that line, the white area there, everything to the south of that, more of a wintry mix, because the thinking is the warm water will produce warm air from the Atlantic, so along the coast, more of a wintry mix. But in D.C., 2 to 6, Baltimore, 4 to 8, Philadelphia, 8 to 14 inches. All this begins later this evening and into tomorrow morning for that region. Take a look at the Boston area and for New England. For New England, this is mostly an early morning and then all day and into the evening tomorrow event. Boston, 10 to 16 inches. Not so much out here in the coastal areas, again, because of the warm weather from the Atlantic. They're expecting maybe 3 or 4 out there on Nantucket, Hyannisport, and the rest. A little bit more inland. But the biggest of it all for this storm, and this is unusual, the biggest hit of all is expected to be New York City. Would you look at that? 15 to 24 inches in the big city. Down the New Jersey shore, in the areas close to the city, something like 8 to 14. But as you move on down the coast, a little bit less in those areas. Out on Long Island, which also gets hit pretty hard, along the south shore of Long Island, Hamptons and all of that area, 10 to 16 inches. North, because wintry mix, the north shore of Long Island a little bit more. And as you go north and west of the city into the Poconos, 24 inches. This, if it happens the way they say it will, that will cripple New York City. We've already heard from the Metro Transit Authority that subways may be in jeopardy tomorrow afternoon because the subways also run above ground, and if you have 2 feet of snow, they just can't clear it all away. Blizzard conditions expected tomorrow in New York City for hours and hours on end. Now, blizzard conditions means 1 to 3 inches of snow per hour, winds above 25 miles an hour. We're expecting gusts up to 50 miles an hour tomorrow. So a heck of a storm coming to the big city, but at least it warms up the next day. There's a reason for this. Adam Klotz is in our weather center this afternoon. More than one system coming together at the same time, right?
Yeah, all piling up right off the coast. Here's how that's playing out for us, Shep. We're looking at snow moving through the Midwest currently, Indiana up into Michigan, Ohio. But there's also a low-pressure system developing off the Gulf of Mexico, spinning down in the southeast. These 2 low-pressure systems are going to meet just off the coast as they do, forming one storm that's slowly going to be moving up. You saw them kind of coming together just off the coast of the Carolinas. That's our coastal low forming, and then it begins to work its way as a nor'easter slowly up the coast. And as you know, on the backside of this, Shep, that's when you can start to see a whole lot of snow. That's part of the reason this is going to be such a big one for us.
Now, the worst of it for the Washington area, that's this evening, right?
Yeah, it begins this evening as we're watching this kind of run up that direction. I have an hour-by-hour forecast as we're going to watch it slowly lift. You do notice a little farther south, and you touched on this, maybe a little bit more rain, more of a wintry mix. As you head farther and farther north, you're going to see more and more snowfall. By the time we're talking about New York City, this is going to be heading into early tomorrow morning, so think the 1 to 2 o'clock time frame. But that's the early stuff. It's only going to intensify as we head through those early morning hours, taking you eventually into Tuesday afternoon, that snow that continues. And, you know, as you said, it's not just about the snow, it's about the winds. And the winds are going to be brutal with this one. Out in front of this is indicating winds up to 70 miles an hour, but getting closer along the coast, New York City, and you mentioned this, probably getting gusts up to 50 miles an hour, and that's when you really start to have a problem, Shep.
Yeah, and we're thinking tomorrow morning, probably around 6, 7 o'clock in the morning for New York City, then blizzard conditions all morning, 8 o'clock an hour, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, blizzard conditions for that entire period. If it happens, and we don't know. Those numbers I gave you were from the National Weather Service. They weren't our numbers. Those are their projections. The National Weather Service, that's the official ones. That's what they're saying. If it happens, it'll be like nothing in the 20 years I've lived here. New York City cannot handle 2 feet of snow in one day. Can't do it.